4 lands. We do have a blue. I'm on the play into potentially a mono black player. So we definitely don't like want to mulligan if we don't have to. I'm gonna keep even though I'm not like crazy about it. Here comes like the turn 1 duress. Okay. Alright, good thing we didn't panic. This is fine for now at least. Yeah. Okay, sacrifice to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Okay. Okay. Maybe we should have, he probably has a counter spell now, so we should have played this on our turn. We get away with it. Probably not the smartest play, right? Yeah. So Esper we see now. Okay, another commando. We're gonna kill it too, just to keep this. Seeing Esper colors, we're gonna assume there's not an insane and authority, a fountain port. Like, there's probably not an insane amount of creatures in his deck. So these map tokens aren't probably a huge deal, and we can start doing. He's got a fountain port of his own. We just make a treasure. It's always really unfortunate, kind of like reminding your opponent of what it was probably smart for them to be doing too. We could play in a flanker right now while he's mostly tapped. Might be worth. Get the scry off. Regent, we like that. We probably don't care about. Really don't want the Regent to get countered though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that there's a good possibility. Actually get to put a little pressure on him. I would really like to consult or meringue here, but I'm not gonna risk it. At least not yet. I think we do now. He's still technically got a 2 mana counter held up. I might do this just in case of that, because I'd much rather have this get countered than the one off of meringue. An authority of our own. Another consult. We'd really like to take some land here, but I don't think we can pass. We might actually be able to pass the authority up, to be honest. Like, how many creatures could he possibly have after we killed 2 commandos? Maybe even the scry, or actually the demo field to kill the fountain port. We resolve that, and yeah. 2, 4, 5. Well, I guess we're about to find out this turn too. Okay. Resolves. The Mistrise Village is really nice to already have, and a fountain port, a demo field. Like, yeah. I think we actually kill the fountain port. This might be a little preemptive, or like might be a little hasty, but I kind of want to have this advantage, you know? Like, I don't want him drawing with this, doing fountain port shenanigans, we want to do that. We don't want him doing that. So we want to be the one doing that. He's going to consult, so we will meringue. No more lies. There's a lot of... We don't want to get rid of, like, almost any of this. Because if he casts a bit... Hitting one of those big, like, 6 mana, like, mill spell. Ugh. Man. Do we bin the Ultima? We might do. Is this crazy? We can even no more lies this right now. I mean, is that nuts? I don't know. I feel like that was a decent play, actually. Now, if he rips off the 6 mana sweeper right now, I'm going to feel like a real, not a very smart person. Okay. Let's target creature or vehicle. Okay. Well, yeah, it would have been nice to have a counterspell held up for that. So, and we don't even have a sweeper now for these. Yeah, so we kind of screwed ourselves. We took a risk. I mean, obviously, knowing what we know now. Ooh. Dang, though, like, this doesn't really fix the problem that we're in, honestly. Like, we need something that can hit Elspeth, so we kind of just need to dig desperately for, oh my goodness, and we completely whiff. Flanker. Man. There's a lot of stuff we'd like to be able to keep, but probably can't. So we need more draw and probably a land. Oh, man. This is not good. We've actually painted ourselves into quite the pickle here. Fortunately, we can do this one more time. Still don't hit a get lost. We can bounce with this, and the Day of Judgment might need to have 3 steps. It could be very important too, though. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, we're in a real bind here. Real bind. I don't even think we can, like, we can't even meringue plus 3 steps, can we? We actually just barely can. Holy smokes. I think we do it. He's almost certainly got a counterspell. If he has 2, we're just kind of cooked. But we got to do something, right? Like, we have to dig ourselves out of this. I think we 3 steps that ourselves. Hope to God he doesn't have another counterspell. If he does, it's probably just over for us. And it looks like he does, so. Good game. Good game, dude. We lost the counter war. Now, we're not completely dead yet. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's the nail in the coffin for sure. Takes the consult. Oh, no, he doesn't. Now, we should be able to dig for a get lost and a sweeper is like literally what we need, and we need to be able to cast both of them. He's got a ton of mana up too, though. I think we play out the demo field. We dig. If he has counter for this, like, oh my gosh. Okay, we do finally hit the stinking get lost. We have an Elspeth of our own. We do not hit a sweeper on 4. Oh, actually we do. Are we actually going to be able to play all this? Who knows? Resolve all this? Like, who knows? We could sweep first. Can we actually afford both? We can. Holy smokes, dude. The sweep is probably more important at the moment. So, yeah, we're dead on board if these don't die. I don't know. He probably has another counter spell. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can we actually get away with this? Holy smokes, we did. Wow.
This is not the end.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, now we have to sit and watch while he does whatever he wants next turn with card draw and 2, 4, 6, 7 lands, 8 lands rather, and he's shocking one in. So are we about to get milled, or is he gonna try to play something and hold up a count? I don't know. Probably finally hit another count. I don't know. No idea what's going on. Deadly cover up. Yikes. That's awful for us. Probably, what does he take? The 3 steps, yeah. That really sucks. Because that's one of the only cards in our hand as well, and one of the big answers to his stuff. So we do have other counter spells, but No More Lies kind of useless. And then we only have negate, Essence Scatter, which probably does nothing against his deck. And yeah, it's looking kind of over, to be honest. We do still have some outs potentially, but I don't know. It's looking real grim right about now. That's big. I'd be shocked. Okay, so finally we see a reef. I think we just do this, right? Get rid of that before it even starts. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that shuffles our I'm an idiot, actually. We at least have the fountain port. We can start making treasures and drawing. How many cards do we have? 26. He binned our 3 steps though, and highly likely he's got more of those deadly cover-ups, so he can kind of just pick apart our deck at this point, and there's not much we can do about it because the 3 steps are already gone. Whatever. He can pump it a bunch with this thing, but we do have a sweeper. We have this as well. Of course he knows about it. I'd really like to kill this. Dang. Should have done that first. I'm an idiot. Probably got a counter. Dang, man. That really sucks. He's probably just gonna get back the deadly cover up. Yeah, it's looking pretty grim. It's looking pretty grim. I think we even just do this. Like, get out of here. Don't want to allow any of this stuff that he's trying to do here. Might even create I want to create a treasure actually, because I really want to draw. And I don't want to be losing life if I can avoid it. That is what we wanted to see. Now we don't have a way to destroy it ourselves yet. Also, there's only one get lost left. So, and we almost certainly know right now that he doesn't have a counter spell, so we might just play it out and go. Like, we can actually even do this too. Rip it and ship it. He gets a free spell. But we get to loop back through. Unfortunately, we don't get back our 3 steps. So maybe he'll even, I don't know why you would, that'd be really weird. We do apparently get the Ultimas. I don't think we used any Ultimas. That's why we're getting them back. So, well, yeah, he's having to think about that. Well. He doesn't seem to have mill either. He can just completely pick apart our deck, but we may be able to grind it out. 26 cards is a lot of cards. We don't have any mill ourselves, but we do have some stuff. We got a Fountain Port, we got an Anchorage, we got the Mist Rise to keep our stuff uncounterable. So maybe he bounces this. Nah, yeah, smart not to. Now that is smart. Now that it's gone for good. Yeah, so play this. I think we just Ultima. Actually, I really don't want it to Ultima. Do we Beyond the Quiet? Can't be countered. Do we get lost it? I think we Beyond the Quiet. Wait, no, why would we do that? We don't really care about exiling like that. Just killing it is fine, I think, actually. Kill the Meringue. Can he bounce it or something? Or give it hexproof? Like, create a copy? I think we negate this. And stock up. Like, no more lies is gonna do nothing at this point, more than likely. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Like, yeah, what's he gonna cast that I'm gonna, like, what's he gonna do in one turn that I'm gonna know more lies? So, charts and a land? I really don't know. Sure, whatever. Whatever. He can't do anything right now, so maybe we do, this even too. Demo field is nice. Couple demo fields, an authority, a fountain port. Another fountain port is actually really nice too. I think we take the demo of the fountain port. Because then we'll have 2 of our own and the Anchorage. Also, attacking his land base is really he's got to be running out of basics too. I think I'm about to run out of basics, like straight up. And I have more than your average. He's 3 color. I should probably be attacking in with the Reef already, to be honest. Yeah, he's gonna make a fish. Sure. The authority would have been big too, to stop this fish nonsense. Of course, I didn't know he was gonna get another like man land nonsense going on. So Riddler's really crappy to see too. I think we just make a fish ourselves. Chump with the fish. Oof, that sucks. Yeah, he's got an authority, we don't. Just now realizing that. Really bad. Really, really bad. I mean, we basically needed to remove both of those. Apparently, we needed to take both demo fields. But, you know, what can you do? Now he plays the Riddler. No, we still couldn't have done that. I think we dig here. I think we try to. Actually, we can uncounterable. We can uncounterable stuff here. So an authority. Elspeth. Another demo field. Yeah, an authority and a demo field, I think, is going to be really crucial here. Okay. So another demo field. He still has basics too, somehow. He's like the luckiest man alive, apparently. 2, 4, 6, 7. Maybe we do our own. Pump our own fish. Okay. By the way, that's 2. I think I have a 3rd just in case of any more shenanigans. He's got an anchorage. Son of a... And we don't even have... How many get lost do we have left for that? Should have 3. We only have 1 demolition field left. Holy smokes, man. He can just get stuff back with this. He can get back an instant or sorcery. How many... What do I even have left? All I had, like, a no more lies, so I can't even do anything. Yeah, I don't think I can even do anything about this. Yeah, like, not much I can do. He probably gets back the deadly cover. Oh, the stock up. Okay. Holy smokes. And we're gonna have to start making fish, but we have like no health to make fish with. The flanker getting health. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is awful. Second authority for him. I think we make it uncounterable. Oh my gosh. You better not tap my yeah. Elspeth? Maybe. Another demolition field. Very big. And potentially the Elspeth. Of course, if we go for Elspeth, it gets like destroyed instantly with Get Lost or something. Then we might need more dig. Like one thing at a time, literally. Maybe even Elspeth and the draw. Whew. Yeah, my turn. Another fountain port. Oh my gosh, and I didn't make a thing. I also don't have a demo. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we... Oh, man. Man. Elspeth uncounterable for sure. Elspeth. We make a couple blockers. He gets health and they come in tapped. Actually, we might need to Ultima this turn. Fountain Port. Ultima. Now he might have a counter. And we only have the one Mistrise, so is what it is. It seems to not have, I would guess. And we also only have the one Fountain Port, so we really need to make a fish. Restless Anchorage. Please. This is on his turn. Why is that? Okay, yeah, it's just like it's tapped. Doesn't untap till my turn. Okay. Oh my goodness, man. This is such a grind. He's gonna bounce my Elspeth. Yeah. Actually, so we get the health. That is actually important. He's gonna bounce his own thing and just get spells back. Oh my goodness, dude. And there's like nothing I can do about this. He's also got the anchorage. Oh my goodness, man. What's he even leaving up? He's still leaving up 3. He's kind of like representing like a counter spell now at this point. What's he getting back? He got back draw last time. Maybe he gets the dead. You don't think he would want a deadly cover up just to hit my Elspeth or something? A get lost for Elspeth. Yeah, nice. And if he counters this, we're pretty much donezo. Okay, he just doesn't have one. Split up. Demo field for the thing is like basically a must at this point. A meringue of our own. Just to literally draw even potentially. Flankers might start actually being valuable here. Detect intrusion, like it's literally the one off at this point. I think maybe the meringue. Gosh, we're in such dire straits right now, dude. If he still has basics, I will be shocked. Yeah, you've got to be kidding me. I can't even get one. And then I think this gets what? Instant or sorcery? So I think we just Ultima. Maybe stock up Ultima, or not even, because we have like too many freaking cards in our hand. We should have made that uncounterable too, but like 11 cards left. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. He's just gonna insta get lost the Elspeth. But we're gaining health. We can just recycle this. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. have a get lost of our own. I can also get rid of the sorcery. Importantly, too, I could kill this with Elspeth, which I might do as like spot removal. Let's get rid of that. Yep. And then get lost this. Ooh, does he have a counter spell for that? No, please. Okay, thank goodness.
Even in this darkness, light will shine.
Put down another anchorage. Holy smokes. I think we make a fish. Actually don't really want to be drawing here. Yeah, and then do we stock up to get the flanker? Maybe. How many cards do we have left? We don't want to mill ourselves before we can mill him, but a couple flankers might actually be really clutch. An essence scatter could be too, though, for the meringue. Dang. I think we get a couple flankers. Holy smokes. Can he get in for lethal? By the way, he's got 9. We've got 13, so we can't just keep drawing. He's pumping this son of a bitch. Okay. Stock up. Top 5. 2 of them in hand, rest on the bottom. He might actually... See, he basically just has to kill me now. Before he gets milled. So... And the flankers are going to be a big help in not letting that happen. Oh my goodness, dude. If we're actually able to grind this out after him, like... binning our Weftwalking, getting rid of all our 3 steps ahead in the control mirror, like, oh my goodness, dude. Honestly, though, I think either way, like a testament to this deck. Like, it is the true Grindfest. Like, we are grinding down to the last like 7 cards in our decks, man. Like, how many turns have we played of this game? He deadly cover-upped all my 3 steps out of my deck, and we're still in the game in a control mirror with like no counter spells left. And he keeps like getting back spells with his storm chasers, bro. Like, insane. Insane. I can't even play the flanker, so we just have to sweep that thing. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, but we're not completely down and out. I think we can play a console. I think we can be on the quiet. Actually, let's make this uncounterable just in case, because like at this point it's absolutely down to the wire, and he did just stock up. So get that out of here. He's got another Restless Reef though, which he can probably kill us with. We could chump with an anchorage. Potentially. We also can get health back with these flankers. It's fine. Your health is irrelevant. Mine is the only relevant health. Oof, that's big. That'll hit the reef. And then another one, I think. Ooh, we don't want to get milled, though. Yikes. Do we stock up into it? I think we do. Right? We stock up to take that. Holy smokes, dude. And another one of these. Even the get lost. We want the get lost first and then the counter probably. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This is the Giga grind. How many counter spells are in his freaking thing? I haven't seen one in quite a while. There's 2 3-steps. Is that it? Of course, he is 3 colors, so he's got like a lot of... there's actually 3 right there. Yeah. So that heals us, though. I mean, we can't do anything about it.
The multiverse will be free from this scourge.
Holy smokes, we lived another turn and the Elspeth doesn't make any tokens. Holy dude. How many's he got left? 6. We've got 10. Split up. Holy smokes. Oh man. Split up of our own is pretty nice. We'll definitely play out this for the health. Meringue might even be bigger. I think split up first is maybe more important. Holy smokes. Get another flanker down. I don't know though, he could have a sweeper again. And we can start literally chumping with anchorages. Holy dude. I think we do play it out. Oh. Yo, we've got to survive 5 more turns like this. He has an Ultima, of course he does. Okay. Of course, he can't make any tokens of his own. Or he should have pumped the Elspeth at least, right? Like, I think we make some tokens here. Yeah. And then another token. We have 2 authorities of our own though, so every time he makes tokens, we are going to be healing for 2. 4 turns. We've got some reefs as well. I mean, some anchorages. Okay. Whew, that's big. That is big. Watery grave. Holy smokes, man. Do we even bounce like his else? But maybe we just split up his fish. I mean his things. Tapped. Yep. Buy another turn. And every time he makes more, our health gets bigger. Yep. And we get like further out of range of the tokens being able to kill us, even through our fish. I think we even... Do we make any? I don't think we need to. Because we're gonna meringue. So he wants to make them flying, right? And then kill us that way. Oof. I think we sweep them and then make some tokens of our own. Buy more turns. I should have made this uncounterable, but you live and you learn, right? So he's got to make more again. 2 more turns and we can bounce it. We can bounce 2 things. Yeah, I don't really love seeing that, but we do get more health. I mean, we could potentially even like eventually be out of range of this. Okay, he's also drawing. I think we might have won. This has been... I think this has been the single grindiest out of all the Grindfest matches we've played. Holy smokes. We can kill the Elspeth, bounce this stuff. Does he have a counter? Yes! Oh my gosh. Absolute grind. Like, how long was that game? Like 30 minutes plus or something? Holy smokes. If this game is not a testament to the Azorius Grindfest 2.0, I don't know what is, okay? He took all my 3 steps and got rid of the Weftwalking. And we still grinded out the win on the top Mythic ladder, okay? What else do you want from Azorius Grindfest? What else could you possibly ask for? That was an insane game. Oh my goodness. Yeah, what a testament to the Grindfest. What an absolute testament. I cannot believe that we ended up winning that game. I'm utterly shocked. Utterly shocked. These came in, like the demo fields and the fountain ports were super clutch. The Mistrise even. Honestly, this saved us, even though we weren't able to do it again because he hit it with the get lost and we weren't able to before we were able to. But yeah, and these. The authority, you got to respect the authority. Respect the authority, okay? Saved our butts once again, even in a control mirror, coming in super clutch. And the 2, very important, because you gain double the health, so you can make fish while gaining life against other people, like making fish, making Elspeth tokens, etc., etc. I can't believe we were able to grind that out. What an absolute grind fest. Okay? But that's what this deck was designed for. Now, I will say, too, though, that it is very weak to like things like Deadly Cover-Up, The End. Of course, we don't have any, like, a ton of, but, like, if they hit Elspeth, I mean, I guess there's not a second copy, but it's just, like, any removal for Elspeth really sucks. Like exiling it, you know, instead of like being able to get it back like from destruction, like a Get Lost or something. Or Bitter Triumph or whatever. But yeah, those like exile control type decks that like aim to pick apart your deck, obviously this is actually somewhat weak to. Basically, if you're not holding up counters on turns where they're doing that kind of stuff, you can get super cooked, as we almost did there to a single Deadly Cover Up. I'm also super surprised he never fetched that back. I think Deadly Cover Up like exiles itself maybe, but no, it goes in the grave. Anyway, I don't know what the deal there was, but got rid of all of our 3 steps ahead. Even took the 1 out of our hand when it was like one of the only cards we had left, and we still were able to grind it out with Azorius Grindfest. If that's not a testament to how like grind capable this deck is, I don't know what is. We've had a pretty rough run of it today, to be honest. Let's actually go look, see. And I knew too. So like last night we went on a huge run, something like literally, I don't know, 15-5 basically. Like this deck was doing amazing. It's actually still currently sitting at a 58% win rate, 26-19. But we've just had some like terrible games today. At one point, this thing was like 80+ % win rate. Obviously, only on like 20 something games or whatever at the time. But I don't know. I feel like it's better than the numbers here right now. Not to mention too, the old version of it is was like 67% win rate, and you know, like I said, at one point we had this thing up to like 80 something % win rate. I think we just had some really bad games today. A few poor matchups on the draw, and like a lot of like really bad opening hands. Had to mulligan and, you know, kind of games, just like unlucky games. I mean, it happens to everyone. Obviously, like numbers over time kind of tend to prove what the dealio is. I'm not saying it's literally like an 80% win rate deck, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little better than what it's sitting at right now with the 58%. But yeah, I really wish I was recording last night when I was kind of like play testing this new list, because yeah, we were like absolutely stomping it, and today has been pretty rough. An absolute grind for sure. I don't remember exactly how many of those games we can showcase, but like, this last one, I mean, if that doesn't prove how like ready for the grind, like this deck embraces the suck, you know, like that last game absolutely sucked. I don't even know at this point how long it was. I'll have to go back and look when I'm done. It's probably like, actually, yeah, we're sitting at like almost 50, like we're like 45+ minutes right now. I've obviously been yapping for a couple minutes, but like, good night, man. So that was probably, yeah, that was easily like a 30+ minute game. I haven't been yapping for like 20 minutes. So that was absolutely insane. Azorius Grindfest. I'll post the list. I mean, you can see it right here, though. Yeah, if you're down to grind out some games, here's a list for you. Okay, like it's here to do it. Honestly, we originally, so I'll probably talk about this in the other in the like videos for this deck, the original Grindfest. Actually, let's go all the way back. So originally, here it is. This was what we kind of adapted from an Azorius mill. So this list we've done pretty well on here. Azorius mill, I can go look, I think. Honestly, I think like one of the days I was playing it, everything was very so it seems like it's sitting at a 53% win rate. I think it's actually like a decent amount higher than that, because I think one night I went on like a big win streak with it, and nothing was updating on like ranks, you know, like this was all super jank. It was like not long after reset. It was like the first few days of like the new season or whatever, and like it wasn't even showing ranks like in game. It was like that stone looking profile, and like we were in high mythic, and it wasn't even showing people's ranks or anything, and it wasn't updating on Untapped any of my games. So anyway, this Azorius mill list, we'll probably play some more with this, maybe make a video for this one too. But yeah, so we were playing with this, having pretty good luck with this. But with all the reanimator shenanigans going on, mill can be a little dicey, and this one specifically too isn't really like the 2-card combo like the Demir or Esper is. Like, you know, the what's it called, you know what card I'm talking about, the 6-mana sweeper that mills half their deck. And then you play this the next turn, you have the 6 mana to do it, and it mills the other half with the exhaust. This, on the other hand, cannot necessarily just hit a space-time anomaly into a river churn and like wombo combo exactly. So obviously you can potentially run into you can put yourself in a really bad position against like a lot of the reanimator and graveyard shenanigans going on now with like reanimator decks, root stuff, like all kinds of stuff going on right now. So we also tried this. So mill was kind of, for here, mill was like a backup strategy, and this was really more of like kind of the beginnings of the Grindfest idea, right? So like we've got plenty of man lands, fountain ports, this thing that can you don't even lose health to make a token, and the tokens are a little more impactful. It can also do some shenanigans with the tokens. So we've got that going on. We've got a couple Mistrise. We've got the backup idea of the mill, and this also does bring back the wombo combo, the like mill half their library and then hit them with the hit the dab on them, so to speak, right? And then we also have this like grind insurance here, right? Like if we get way down and we can't mill them yet, or like we're scared to mill, we couldn't hit the 2-turn combo, the revelation, pop the revelation. Also pretty much like you play this card, people scoop, like for the most part. Also, the 4 authorities in here, respect the authority, okay, was really big. Additionally, yeah, for context too, I am doing a little bit of like yapping and rambling here, but I don't know if anyone's terribly that interested in it, but we'll continue to explain my thought process here. So this deck and the other deck we were talking about, the Azorius Mill, we were playing this pre-ban and like pre whatever it's called, the season rotating or whatever, yeah, before the new season and the bans and stuff. So, and actually right up until the bans, which was actually past the new season. But anyway, so what we've got is so at the time, right, mono red, Boros, all these decks, like big aggro decks, and you've got, what is it, mono white life gain, the Selesnya rabbits, all kinds of just like go wide aggro stuff going on, like so much. And then even the go tall kind of more strategies, like the mono green landfall and stuff like that. Even honestly, like mono white can go tall too. And red could even like stall out in like certain ways if they know you have sweepers with their whatever, the slick shots, and like pump the crap out of them and just burn down and do like, you know, like half your life total in one turn with one creature kind of thing, instead of just like playing out a ton of the board. But anyway, so the idea here was obvious. Like, look, we've got just a ton of sweepers and a ton of, like, this is basically a little sweeper for little stuff and even cleans up some artifacts and whatnot. Got spot removal, planeswalker hate. We've got the authority of consoles and the flanker for health, and obviously this is just a super versatile card. Grave hate, which again became very important. Obviously there's some dyssynergy here, right? Like, you mill half, you want to mill the other half. You don't want to mill half and end up having to do this, but against like all the roots, reanimator, like stuff going around, sometimes you had to. So this was kind of like one of the original ideas after the Azorius mill, and mill was kind of like, the mill combo was an idea, but not something we had to hard commit to, because we've also got, you know, the man lands. We can just wait them out, stabilize, kill all their stuff. They play out all their cards. We just wipe everything turn after turn. And then we start doing our own stuff, like either mill them or start going in with man lands and things like that. Maybe even potentially a flanker, but that's not really what this is doing here. So that was the idea here, and the finale was really nice. Now, the thing about finale is, to get the effect you really want, it's at least 12 mana, which, you know, we're not a ramp deck, we're a control deck, right? So like, we can get there eventually, and obviously this deck is designed to grind it out too. But you can still end up in situations oftentimes where, like, you burn through a ton of sweepers and you really want to be casting this soon, and you still don't quite have enough lands down. So it's the cost is a lot. Also, importantly, if you read the bottom text here, Exile Finale of Revelation. So it's kind of a one and done. We didn't really want to put 2 in the deck. That's like too many, really, it feels like. And but like, getting this exiled feels pretty bad, right? Now, granted, you probably never really need to. I don't know how many games we've really looped Weftwalking more than once, or like even needed to, but you can. Also, importantly, you can do the Weftwalking thing for minimum 6 mana, or 8 mana is what you really want to do, is cast the Weftwalking and then throw it in the graveyard before it scoops everything back in, so that you're reinsured, right? you re-up on the insurance. With this, you cannot do that. Now, untapping the 5 lands and having no maximum hand size is very, very nice, because that means this ends up being net like cost. You have to have the 12 mana to cast it, but then you can untap 5 lands. So in a way, it's like kind of like, you could say maybe it's like costing 7 net cost, but you still have to have the 12 in order to do that. Having minimum 6 for Weftwalking, right? Here, Weftwalking is only 6, and then to do what you really want to do, which is Weftwalk and then get lost, that's only 8. Now, you don't get to untap anything. You don't get, you know, no maximum hand size for the rest of the game, blah, blah, blah. But importantly, you can do it for like half the cost, technically, 6 instead of 12. And you can recycle this. It does not exile itself. And sometimes that can be very important. Also, there's the one-off of Meringue in here is really kind of just for... It's huge value to be able to just constantly recycle the Meringue if you can hit it with some other... You know, if you hit it early in the game, start to use this instead of your other card draw, is really, really nice. Huge value. Also, in a pinch, you can... It's also kind of one of those utility things. It is a threat. It's a 6/7 flying body, right? And also, you've got the bounce, which is more utility, but importantly, If you are not able to, and you just like absolutely have to at some point, Weftwalk without being able to hit it with the Get Lost, you can in future. I mean, obviously you're going to get some Get Lost back. You could still, but at that point you don't want to. Once it actually scoops, you don't want to Get Lost it, right? Because then it goes into the bin and you cannot get it back. There's nothing in this deck, at least, that can. But if you just leave it on the field, you can bounce it back to your hand with Meringue. So that's some more like the reason this Meringue in here really is actually just, it's like big time utility in a lot of ways, and it's a ton of value. Also, this is just, Meringue's just an amazing card, and like, if I must say, the artwork, insane. It's like so nice. Absolutely beautiful card. Beautiful card. I don't even want like the fancy. This is one of those cards where like the base art and like everything about the card is like so gorgeous. I don't even want like the fancy like effects or whatever, like alt art or whatever. Like this card is like gorgeous. Such a great card. Love this card so much. Anyway, but so it performs a lot of roles in this deck. It's a lot of utility, it's a lot of insurance. And as you saw in that last game, I mean, like, we have the one-off in here, but how many times did we get to cast this card? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like it was literally 3 or 4, if not more. And at the end there, we were about to, like, cast it to bounce some stuff and buy even more time. Like, insane value. Insane value from this card. Amazing card. I think everybody kind of knows that. If you've played, you know, Control in the past, you know, year or whatever, like, you already know. I don't need to go on anymore about this card. Now, similarly, the other thing that we changed about this list, so, right, where was I? So, there was kind of like a mill list idea. Then we went to the mill possibility, but really just like kind of starting to shift into this like Grindfest idea. But what this one obviously ended up being really weak to was other control decks. Now at the time we weren't seeing a ton, and this did really great against all the aggro, all the creature decks, all of that, and you didn't have to mill if you were playing like Reanimator nonsense. You had some other stuff to do and just try to grind it out. Then we went to the Grindfest. So we already explained the change to Weftwalking from Finale of Revelation. But the other thing is that we've got counter spells now, right? So we can actually play into control a lot better. Now we sacrifice some sweepers and stuff. We've got a Biza in here to stabilize. It's a big body, like kind of a threat. I don't know. I've never been like completely sold on this card. I mean, obviously it's a good card. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a bad card, but I don't know. I'm just never like super crazy about it. A lot of times it doesn't. I mean, clearly as like a one-off, you're not gonna get it in a lot of the situations where it would be like really good. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't completely sold on it. Obviously you'd like to have it as like an alternative, like stabilizer, threat, all this kind of stuff. The life gain is really nice. But I needed to make room, and as you can see, we're already shifting. We went from 1 flanker, now we've got 2 flankers. And again, specifically mostly for the utility of the exile effect. We can exile the graveyards of all these Reanimator people. And now that there's even less aggro going on, so cutting down some of the sweepers and removal a little bit, and putting a little more investment into this. Now, this deck ended up doing very well too, but still ended up being somewhat weak with only the 2 flankers. Still ended up being like pretty weak to Reanimator, like only having 2 answers for that And I mean, even if you get them both, you can still lose to Reanimator. Like, it's that deck is insane. Like, it's so crazy. How many threats, how many different which ways they can get stuff back. Like, it's that deck is crazy. And now that it's like less in check, thanks to Mono Red and Boros being hit and Vivi being gone and all this stuff, like prowess decks, you know, there's a lot less checks for the Reanimator deck, and I'm seeing it like even more now. And that deck is crazy strong too, honestly. I don't want to sound like someone who's always complaining about like, oh, ban this, ban that, whatever, but like that, I'm not even saying necessarily like Cavero or something needs to be banned, but like that deck is crazy strong right now too. But anyway, so, and you just have to have answers for it. So this did really well, but against all the Reanimator and Roots, like kind of like graveyard strategies, two flankers ended up not being enough. And I'm not gonna lie. No more lies. I'm not gonna lie about it anymore. I don't really like this card very much. I feel like probably a lot of people out there will say I'm crazy. This card is like so good. I don't know. Like obviously, like having it in your early hand, like early and mid game, like you can get a lot of value out of it. Yeah, but like I cannot tell you how many times we did not have this when we needed it and have it when we don't need it. Like, and again, this is kind of like the Grindfest deck, right? Like, we're here for the grind. This card, after, you know, we start getting into turn 5, 6, 7, 8, like, this card starts to get less and less and less, like, not only, like, less and less value, but, like, literally just, like, unplayable. Like, eventually you just, like, this card does nothing at a certain point. Especially once, like, they know it's in your deck. Generally speaking, people, like, see these colors, assume it's in your deck. And they're already playing around it anyway, which is kind of some, like, pressure and power in and of itself, whether or not you're actually running this, right? So you get some of that benefit, whether or not you're even running it. And yeah, I don't know, for a more typical kind of Azorius ideas, it's maybe better. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a bad card. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that like everyone runs this in like every control list. It's in like a 4-off in almost every control list, and I just don't feel like it's like as good as most people think it is. Like everyone runs this card, and it's like, I don't know, a lot of times you like I said, you just like you don't have it when you need it, and then very quickly you get out of range of like it having really any value to you, or even like usability. It's just like completely unusable, unplayable after not that deep into the game, which this deck is trying to go. Like this deck's here to go the distance, and once we're getting into the thick of it, you've got 4 cards sitting in your deck that are just dead, you know, like useless. And yeah, so all that is to say that some of the main changes, we needed more Grave Hate, and I'm not a huge fan of No More Lies. So the new incarnation has added, here's the like current Grindfest 2.0, and you'll notice we went down to a singular No More Lies. We went up to 3 flankers, and we brought in the main deck Negate. Yeah, we're that guy. We're an absolute freak. Negate, Essence Scatter, and the new Detect Intrusion. Okay, this can still hit instants, sorceries, and importantly, triggered abilities. Now, you might say, why not Tashana? Well, we're not really trying to play creatures. We barely have any. The flankers are literally basically there for the utility. We chump and stuff with them, or like use them to kill like surprise removal basically by blocking, flashing in and blocking, and get the but it's mainly the utility, right? Like we love the 2 life, the scry, and it's also essentially there to act as grave hate when we need it. Because rest in peace, right? You say like, well, why don't run rest in peace? Why do you have 3 freaking flankers and no rest in peace? Ding dong, you can just put down 1 rest in peace, and that completely cucks the reanimator deck. No, because guess what? These people have like 4 copies of that. What, Awaken the Honored Dead? You throw this down, they just destroy it. So it like does the same thing as the flanker. Except it exiles your graveyard too, which, but if you don't remember, we're here for the grind. We're embracing the suck. Okay, this is the Grindfest. We don't want to exile our own graveyard. Okay, we want to exile their graveyard. Also, when we're not playing against reanimate, like we have to have some stuff like this in the deck to like survive in the current meta. But like when we're not playing reanimator roots, these kind of shenanigans, this card does something, right? It has other utility. And as you saw in the last game, like the life gain in the scry and the ability to block and to flash in and even kill unsuspecting creatures is huge utility and value, and importantly doesn't hit our graveyard, which this card does. So that's why we're not a huge fan of the rest in peace, which seems to be a big answer for a lot of like control players against these reanimator strategies. So that's kind of the idea here. And since, by the way, huge thorn in the side of this evolution of deck lists that we've been playing, the reanimator strategies, we lost a lot to reanimator. We lost a lot. Really bad matchup, really tough matchup. I think I haven't played a ton of stuff in the current meta yet, but I feel like it's a rough matchup for a lot of decks, and you just have to have answers. And since we've gone up to the 3 flankers, we've been having some pretty good luck. Also, the other idea here is Detect Intrusion. It's a 2 mana hard like that's the thing. No More Lies. We're here for the grind, right? This is the Grindfest. No More Lies is unplayable pretty quickly into the game. Negate, Essence Scatter, Detect Intrusion, these are 2 mana hard counters, okay? No More Lies can hit anything, any spell, okay? But we have options. And how many times too, like, you end up, it's like you have, 2 or 3, like, you're binning No More Lies, and then also too you get to the point where it's like you have to cast 2 No More Lies to like actually counter one thing. Well, if we replace that with some options here, what you end up with a lot of times is instead of having like 2 No More Lies, drawing a third one, having a discard one, we've got multiple options in our hand. Okay, we can count 2 mana hard counter a creature, 2 mana hard counter other, like, against control and other shenanigans, all kinds of stuff. Pretty much every deck, even these creature decks, have non-creature spells that we want to counter for cheap. And oh, by the way, No More Lies can't hit that stuff past like a certain number of turns a lot of times. So we left the 1 in. It is like, it's not a bad, it's a good spell, okay? And to have early, like, it's a good counter spell. But we're here for the grind. So we want hard counters, we want cheap hard counters, and we want options. Also, the Detect Intrusion triggered ability, okay? But again, it's like serving a multi-purpose. Like Tishana, sure, it counters the triggered ability. But Tishana's 3 mana, it's a creature. We're not really looking to play Tishana like that. This is the same kind of idea as the flanker serves in these lists, in that like it has a lot of utility. it's very versatile. Like this can be a 2 mana hard counter for, you know, they throw up no more lives. We can hit it with a detect intrusion. Oh, by the way, we can hit it with a detect intrusion for 1, and they can't. It doesn't matter how much mana they have left. It's a hard counter. They have to counter it. They can't just pay for it. Okay. So ton of utility here, and it also serves. We've got 3 flankers for the Grave Hate and all the utility, and this can also hit the triggered ability of the Bringer of the Last Gift or whatever, or all kinds of other stuff. I mean, it comes in, you know, in handy a lot. You have this card in the deck, you start to see how useful it is. I feel like, obviously, I'm not really trying to run like 4 of them main deck or something over No More Lies, but having all these options and this utility is really, really nice. Especially when you end up a lot of times with like a couple of these in your hand, which in a normal list would literally just be like multiple copies of No More Lies, which the further you go into the game, the worse it feels. And we're, again, here for the grind. But these, having all these options, all this utility, and just the power of the hard counter over, you know, the having them have to have the extra 3 mana, it has come in really handy. And I feel like moving forward, even in more typical lists, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more that, like, less No More Lies and more alternative options. You know, because it's just coming in really, really handy. Also, another cute, cheeky little thing that we can occasionally do and that comes in super handy is the Enweb. So again, like we kind of mentioned, we kind of touched on it a little bit. You can cast this for 1, a 1 mana hard counter. And especially, again, these mainly are like utility, but like it does things we already want to do, but also it serves as like great anti-reanimator. But it's not completely, these cards aren't completely useless against non-reanimator decks, right? So, and a very cute thing you can do against reanimator is you bring in the flanker when, you know, when you finally need to. You bring in the flanker, you exile their whole graveyard, and then eventually, you know, you if you get this tapped, like, you know, you attack with it, it's tapped, and then on, like, they try to do something else, you can detect intrusion. Not only does it only cost 1, but you can bounce this. You may cast a spell for 1 blue if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. And we have 3 flankers. So if, when we're able to, and we have been able to do this, and it is super, it's nasty. So we get a 1 mana hard counter for an instant sorcery or ability, and we bounce this back to the hand and get the ETB all over again. It's really a beautiful thing when you see it come together. And so that's a whole idea that's here in this deck too. And this is, again, further like utility and options and just power that you have that No More Lies does not have. So that's kind of why I feel like this counter spell like package here maybe looks a little goofy to more conventional thought. And, you know, who knows, by the numbers, like, it might, like, yeah, maybe No More Lies is just the best, like, 2 mana counter spell or whatever. But, like, I've really been loving having all these options and all this utility over just, like, 1 No More Lies. And again, the idea of this deck is kind of built around going late, like late game, grinding these games out. Not because I'm a complete freak. I know you see the main deck negate. I'm a bit of a freak, but it's just what's been happening. Like I said, we were playing some. Now I am a control player, generally speaking. I play a lot of control. I really like blue is one of my favorite colors. I love black, like Dimir, Esper, Azorius. These are kind of my colors for the most part. Anyway, but I don't like necessarily want like this last game, you know, what, like 45-minute game or something down to the absolute wire, and like we literally milled out our opponent with no mill, you know what I mean? Like we shuffled our deck back in and just stalled my man out to the like to the absolute like bitter end. But that's the kind of games I've been like running into playing like some of these lists. They've just been like so grindy, right? Like especially too now that they've hit mono red and Boros and is it prowess kind of stuff. People, you're seeing more control, you're seeing little less aggro, more like mid-rangey kind of decks. Obviously a lot of combo with like the Kona reanimator stuff and all this, and you know, so like less aggro and longer games. And I've just been like, I'm telling you, these games have just all been turning into a grind fests playing these different control lists. We'll probably make a video for this one too, but yeah, these games have just been absolute grind fests. So we've just embraced the suck and built a deck to match what we've been getting matched up against, which is absolute control grind fests. And yeah, even grinding out really long games against, you know, things like Reanimator, all this. So like you end up like getting them to mill themselves essentially. Like, but yeah, so we've just designed a deck for what we've kind of been running into. And the other stuff that's not as super grindy, we have a bunch of sweepers and like removal for. So yeah, that's just kind of the ideas that have been the evolution of this kind of control deck that we've been playing lately. I guess we'll touch on another. So like you already saw, obviously, a lot of the power of these. Another thing that's really important for the demo field, though, too, and that comes in handy in a lot of these really grindy games. I don't know if I've actually recorded any that had a ton of this on display, per se, but another really cheeky, cute thing you can, and honestly, like, not even cute, it's just straight up like, we're grinding it out. This is like grind. So you, because typically, like, see, just look at us, we have 3 anchorages and 2 fountain ports. So even if someone's running 4 demo fields, they can't hit all of our, you know, a lot of lists will run like 4 anchorages, couple fountain ports, couple demo fields of their own. Even if you have 4 main deck demo fields, you're not killing all their like man lands and their little, you know, gimmicks with the fish and tokens and all this card draw and stuff. So having the 3 in here, you use, you know, maybe as you're grinding the game out, you use a couple, start hitting their like restless reefs, their fountain ports, their cottages, man lands, anything. If they don't have any important, really important lands like that, just a lot of deck like Reanimators running like dual lands. These Cavern of Souls, big in a lot of matchups, right? Demolition Field's here for that. Also, Demolition Field goes into your graveyard when you use it, and then you get them back with Weftwalking and you run through them again. So in some super grindy matchups, and that might have been kind of, I might not have even like really noticed it or like went into it in that last like super grind fest game that we just finished, but I probably played more than 3 demo fields, right? Well, there's only 3 in my deck, but we get them back, so we kill like a couple of their reefs, you know, and one of their fountain ports. Well, we recycle them all. We kill the other fountain port, we kill some reefs, and then we can literally just start going for their dual lands. Start hitting their verges, their surveil lands, their scry lands, their Mistrise Village comes in very handy, like killing that. So even with 4 copies of main deck demo field, you can't hit all this stuff that a lot of decks have that you're like grinding it out against, and these become very relevant in the grind, as you saw in these games that we've been playing with this list. And being able to recycle these is really, really big. Also, they have demo fields a lot of times too. They're using demo fields against your man lands, your fountain ports, your one Mistrise. That hurts really bad in a lot of these matchups. Guess what? Weftwalking. Okay. And also, with all the lands that you have on the field, usually by that point in the game, these ones that end up in the graveyard, you get them back. Like, it's not hard to draw into these. Like, you've already got a ton of the like and all this other stuff on the field. So being able to recycle these is another really big value that Weftwalking and things like Weftwalking and Finale of Revelation can do for your deck. So that's kind of the idea behind some of this. Also, I don't know if I've even mentioned this yet in all my rambling that we've been doing, but the other important thing that this card can do, and I should have, I think, at least one or two games that should be able to display this. This is like mill insurance. We've won that because that's another thing that a more typical control list can often be like very susceptible to. They've got things like Mistrise Village and the Rupture, I think it's called. Singularity Rupture, right? And the you guys know what combo I'm talking about. Anyway, without this, you're very susceptible to mill, typically. If you don't have demo fields when you need them to hit important things like Mistrise Village, you only have 2 Ultimas that can hit artifacts, and I mean, you only have so many counter spells in the deck. You can't always hold up everything every turn, you know. And they typically will run probably like a couple Mistrise Villages in those kind of like Dimir or Esper or even like Azorius mill lists. And there's like, so it's uncounterable. You can't counter the mill, right? But what you can do is shuffle your deck back in. Also, in a pinch, now we really hate to do this again, like, which is why, same idea, we didn't take Rest in Peace. We really don't want to bin our own graveyard. We don't want to exile our own graveyard. But if we really have to, the flanker can also do that. So, like if they mill your Weftwalking, right, and you like, it comes down to the wire, you can at least exile your graveyard so they can't exhaust the river churn and just like 1-2 punch with the uncounterable like combo, right? So this deck is pretty resistant, or I'll say at least much more resistant than a more typical Azorius list that isn't running some idea like this. Weftwalking, not Jeskai Revelation, but Finale of Revelation. So that's kind of like the thought process behind this deck. Also, I guess I'll mention too, like, Stock Up's a great card, but we went for 4 of these and 3 Stock Ups because obviously you can recycle all this stuff, and the deeper you get into the game, the more value this card gets and the better it becomes. And you know, obviously once you've put down a ton of lands and even like started recycling stuff back into the deck, like this card is insane. This card is so good. So that's kind of the idea there. And Meringue's also recyclable draw and utility without even Weftwalking. So we dropped one of these, put one of these for the utility, for the ability to bounce this, for the like insane value of just like repeatedly using this card. You keep digging for it, casting the like just recycling that card. And I mean, even casting it as a creature is insane value and utility. A big 6/7 flyer that bounces 2 things for 6 is, you know, really nice card to have in your deck. So yeah, I mean, we have won games. I think some of the recorded games will show too. Like we've won games with Elspeth. I mean, we've had people like literally like people scooped Elspeth in a lot of situations. Um, people scooped Weftwalking in the right scenario. You like play out Weftwalking, hit it with the get lost, get everything back after you've already like countered and like a ton of their important spells and gained a ton of health off authority and these flankers and exiled their graveyard, and then you get it all back. A lot of times they just scoop to this too. But yeah. Oh, that was one of the other things I did want to talk about too. So another thing that this deck and these kind of lists can be susceptible to is a lot of these indestructible effects against our big sweepers. Basically just cards that need to get exiled. So we at least put the one off of this Ride's End. A lot of lists run more, and I don't necessarily think that's a mistake. This is a great card, but I won't talk too much about this. The Get Lost is just a lot of utility. It's Plains Walker Hate. It recycles this. It's target spot removal. It hits enchantments. Again, a lot like utility. This card does so many things. This card does a thing that card can't do, well, maybe even a couple. It exiles things and it can hit a vehicle, but this is much more utility, right? So that's why we have the one off and the 4 of these. But enough about that. Beyond the Quiet, another thing that typical control lists and even this deck specifically can be very susceptible to is all the these green decks running things that make their stuff indestructible, hexproof. There's a number of decks running. The Auras decks have that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of that running around too in some of these decks, and this deals with all that. Also, the exile is really not just for indestructible, but like against things like Orzhov, and again, these Reanimator decks. You don't just wipe the board, you're exiling everything this hits. So if they play like a huge, because that does happen occasionally. They play out Kavero, get the Bringer, res, a ton of stuff. But if they don't have the Terror of the Peaks of the Arden to like one turn like wombo combo you, they just like get a bunch of big creatures on the field, but they can't actually kill you that turn. Well, instead of hitting the Day of Judgment, the Ultima, this exiles everything. Also hits vehicles, which can be somewhat like I've hit a lot more not vehicles actually, I lied, spacecraft. But you almost want to like write that off, like, oh, it's like done. Ultima's so much better. It can hit artifacts and creatures. Like spacecraft, what is this? It's like the gimmick from this this set. But Seriema, the Seriema. I've hit a lot of spacecraft with this, surprisingly. I've surprised myself and also just the simple fact that it's the exile. It prevents indestructible and it prevents graveyard shenanigans. Like also on another, like if they raise the past but they can't one turn kill you on these Orzhov decks, you exile everything. Like that is big. That's really, really big. Now their raise the past, their second raise the past does nothing. They have to throw a bunch of more stuff in the graveyard before this can res it. Obviously, Ultima's really nice in these situations too because it prevents the end of turn triggers. So you know, the blood witches won't all be going off and all this stuff, and anything that creates more tokens and blah 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 won't be happening. But this has a lot of utility as well, and this card's really been growing on me. I don't really see anyone running it. Like, I barely see this card, but it's really been growing on me. And since putting it in the deck, we've really been liking it. Also, really wish that I would have gotten this. I don't know. I guess it was probably available, yeah, at the when this set came out. Like the artwork for this one a lot more than the base card. Yeah, I think that's a nice card. Kind of wish I had that, but is what it is. Base art's okay. But yeah, this card's really been growing on me. Been loving the utility. Hits a lot of stuff that needs to get hit by these other sweepers that you can't. You know, Ketramos, the frog mommy lady or whatever, all kinds of stuff, and just the general effect of it's not putting everything in the graveyard, it's exiling all of it, which is a huge deal in a lot of matchups too. So that's been really big, and we kind of started to see that in the original idea, which was just to was just to have a ton of sweepers, right? Like a bunch of sweepers, grind it out, and then mill them, or loop if we need to, right? But because you can't run four of these, you know, and plus blah blah blah. So we needed more sweepers. So here's this, and we really started to see in a lot of matchups the awesome utility of this card, and the power of it. Love Ultima 2, but this is another great card I feel like people kind of sleep on, from Edge of Eternities, and it's another great sweeper. It's great utility to have in the deck, and for whatever reason, maybe I've just been getting lucky, but I have not really run into a ton of the Jeskai artifacts since the like bans and like the meta kind of shifting around. We haven't really been running into as much, and yeah, so it's really nice to have this for a lot of the other matchups. But obviously you need this. This is a big card to be able to dig for against the Jeskai artifact matchup. Another one where like you could say, you know, oh well, Tishana like keeps, as long as it's on the field, keeps the one locked down. This only prevents the one trigger, but I mean you can, and oh by the way, instant sorcery, this can be a hard counter for whatever United Battlefront. It can prevent a trigger on a crucial turn that it needs to. A lot of utility in this card. Yeah, Tishana would be really good. Like obviously if we in best of 3 like sideboarding against that, we'd be bringing in Tishana's, right? But and even more Ultimas, getting rid of these, bring in like as many Ultima as we can type thing. But you know, in best of 1 you have to set it up to be good against the whole field. So, and this has been feeling like a great balance. Obviously there's rough matchups, there's rough games, but we've been doing pretty well with this. I mean, what are we right now? We're like top 1000, and I literally was, I don't know if I can even, you'll have to forgive me, I'm new to all this, but can I show this here? If I bring over here, no, it's still just grabbing the, anyway, so I guess at the moment you'll have to take my word for it, but when we first broke into Mythic this season, we were at and by the way, we were playing like mono black, like Ugin ramp type lists and stuff to do that with for the most part. And we broke into Mythic at like 399, so like top 400. And then we started playing a bunch of like for fun kind of stuff and testing a bunch of stuff like doppelgang like ideas that I've been working on, and stuff that's not necessarily the strongest, and dropped like way down. We even dropped out of like literally out of numbered ranks, and playing this and this, playing these two lists, we literally got back into like top 500. Today has been like actually a pretty rough day. I didn't record that nice run back into the top 500 with the Grindfest list, but as we stand right now, we're back in top 1000. And yeah, so I think it's, and these games and the level we're playing them at, I think is a testament to this list and its ability to just like absolutely grind out games. If you are here for the grind, then maybe this is a list for you. It does it can suck. It can really suck. You got to be willing to embrace the suck. I feel like most real control players though are here for that. They're not necessarily always the most fun games, but they can be really like nail biters, exciting, and like down to the wire. Like you are squeezing every bit out. Like every drop is getting squeezed out with this deck. And yeah, that's kind of what we built it for, because that's a lot of the games we've been running into. And yeah, this deck list is here for it. So if that's what you're looking to do, if you're an absolute freak, I guess, like me, maybe give it a try. We also last thing before I really need to quit rambling here, but so we've had a few ideas like this with the Revelation version, and then moving to Weftwalking. We also, just to be perfectly frank, I like playing big fun cards like this, like Timmy Magic, and finding ways to actually make them good and have like usable, make them usable, make them playable, have actual utility and benefit is a lot of fun for me. So that's kind of part of what's been going on with these ideas. And I saw that new avatar card there. I won't go look it up now because I've been rambling way too long, but there's a new blue card that has similar effect to like a Revelation. It like shuffles back into your graveyard and stuff back into your hand, and you have unlimited hand size for the rest of the game, and then it exiles itself. But it's cheaper than Revelation, and I think it had some other important. We're gonna definitely make we're gonna make a version when we get access to the new cards here. Definitely trying that. I've seen a few people like scoffing at it, saying kind of like, obviously this isn't like the most competitively viable card or whatever, right? But like I feel like you can find ways to make fun stuff like this playable oftentimes, and surprisingly good in a lot of scenarios. And yeah, that new blue card that has very similar effect to the Revelation, it looks like it could be a lot of fun, and I think maybe will be a bit of a sleeper card, and that in a lot of ways these two cards have been, Revelation and the Weftwalking in these decks. So anyway, thanks for checking everything out. If you liked it, leave a like. Subs would be obviously much appreciated. Leave any comments, ideas for future stuff. Obviously open to ideas. I don't know everything, and there's probably a lot of stuff about this list itself that could be optimized and could be a lot better by people who are better at the game than me, smarter than me, and just have a different perspective even too, and all that good stuff. So the one last thing that I think I didn't mention that I did really want to mention, I love that. I think Split Up 2 is kind of like a little bit of a slept on card. I do really like the, what's it called? The Star Cage. What were we using that in? This? Yeah, this I think is also a great card too, but there's obviously a decent amount of dis-synergy here. Like, you have to get up to 8 mana. Now, a lot of times you're scooping up stuff, like, literally tokens, and it doesn't matter. But sometimes it does, and sometimes you need to cast Ultima before you can uncage this at 8 mana. Although I don't think there's so much dis-synergy that you can't run stuff like this together, because we've done it to great success. But especially when you've got consoles, Authority of the Consoles in conjunction with this card absolutely slaps. And we had even more of it here, right? Oh my gosh. No, it's the first Grindfest list. Okay, so 2, yeah, making it even more like usable. Now obviously the more authorities you have, like, so the more likely you are to be able to like have this in play when you get this to use, is really nice. But I feel like these 2 cards in conjunction are really strong, and I feel like people really overlook that, because I don't see a ton of people running Split Up or even Star Cage, which is again another like great card. I feel like I've had a lot of success with that card, but yeah, I don't really see it used a ton. This is another like great card. Scoop up a ton of stuff, even artifacts. Like, you can, this hits other people's river churns. It hits all their tokens if they're like, you know, with the artifacts deck, you know, they'll scoop up all their tokens, and you can still Ultima everything whenever you want, because they don't even get the tokens back. You don't even have to unlock this. You don't even need to worry about it. So really nice. So I feel like these are like mini sweeper, like conditional mini sweepers that are pretty overlooked. I feel like I maybe see Star Cage played a little bit more. That might just be confirmation bias from myself, because I've played it like a little bit more. But like, yeah, I don't see this card a lot, and I feel like it's really good, especially with Authority, which is another really good card. I feel like Authority of the Consoles does so much for this kind of a list. And yeah, obviously you see a good bit of this, but I feel like you see plenty of people running this, and you like never see this, and I just don't like. Great, there's so much synergy here. Obviously you can't just run an insane amount of these, but, and that's the other thing, we literally had to cut down one of these to put in another flanker, just because of all the freaking reanimator stuff going on right now. But yeah, like ideally we'd actually love to be able to run more of these, and in future may try to find a way to do so. I think I even still kept 2 of these when I went up one of these, but ended up needing more than just one singular way to exile things, because sometimes that can be a bit of an issue for this deck too. And also, if you literally just like need to exile one Ketramos, or the like Frog Mommy card or whatever that thing was called, I have no idea, I don't remember, never played with it, or all kinds of other stuff that just need to be exiled, right, that you can't, or like indestructible. This is a great way to deal with indestructible. It can be a very cheap way to deal with indestructible too, and it's like cheap targeted removal, whereas like obviously you don't want to be burning this on one indestructible like thing if you don't have to. So, and it just gives, you know, it's a couple options here, right, to couple cards in the deck to be able to hopefully draw to deal with stuff like that. So we ended up going down one of these. I'd love to keep running 2, but I don't know, just felt like I couldn't fit it. Anyway, I'll quit yapping. Anyone who's watching, appreciate you stopping in, and again, feel free to leave comments and let me know, you know, what you think about the list, any ideas for future, any optimizations, any other ideas. Always love doing that kind of stuff. And yeah, appreciate you stopping by. See ya.